Welcome, everyone, to another exciting adventure on the energy that surrounds us. I'm your host, Michael, and tonight's guest is an amazing guest that I am so fortunate our paths crossed, and I am anxious and excited for her to be able to share her story. So I am only going to pause for a moment to say, welcome everyone to December, the Christmas holiday, whichever holiday you celebrate season. So, blessings to you all and happy holidays. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the one, the only multi talented Betty Jean Ward.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, Michael.
Well,
I'm
thank
very
you.
excited about my book. It's called They're Still With Us: How to See Your Signs of Love from Your Deceased Loved Ones. I've been getting signs since I was about 11 years old, and I didn't really realize it was a sign until about when I was 50 when my dad came to me.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
what was that like?
That was a little freaky. In fact, I didn't want to tell anybody about it because I wasn't sure that it was a sign. But after comparing my memories, I thought, yeah, that was something because it was so weird how it happened. When I was 11 years old, my aunt was dying of cancer and my brother was getting engaged and she wanted to go to his wedding. So when the wedding day came around, there was this woman that came into the vestibule with the bridesmaids. And my aunt was always a character. She was always trying to make people laugh and everything. And this woman came in and she looked like a bag lady to me. And she was telling jokes and all the bridesmaids are laughing and everything. And I kept looking at her thinking, I never seen that woman before because I went to school there and went to masses during the week. I'd never seen her. And I thought that was weird, but, I kinda chalked it up to, like, just something that happened. And then when I turned 50, my dad came to me as a schoolboy. He was always studying art books and piano books and everything. And, he came to me as a student. And I was coming out of my apartment to go to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and there was this kid walking up very slowly. And when I crossed the street to put my stuff in the car, he had stopped on the sidewalk and was staring at me. And so I turned around and looked at him. He goes, "Do you know what time it is?" I said, 7 o'clock. I said, 7. He went, "O'clock?" I went, "Yes." And he turned around and went back the way he came. And I'm thinking, where is he going? So the following week, he comes up again and he's walking a little closer this time. And I met him at the bottom of my steps. And he turns around and he goes, "Do you know what time it is?" I said, 7 o'clock. And he went, "Oh, wow." And he turns around and gives me a little wave and walks back. And I'm thinking, what is going on? 7 o'clock, what is going on? Well, here, me and my dad, when he was alive, we had hit the lottery on my birth time. And the lottery time was 7 o'clock. And it was
Ah,
2 weeks before my birthday when this kid kept coming to me. And after those 2 weeks, I never seen him again.
wow, that is an amazing sign.
Yeah, yeah, so he found a way to get to me in human form. That was a shock. I was just like, "I can't believe he managed to do that," but that was him. He wouldn't like, he used psychology on you sometimes, so he really made me think about that one.
So your book, about the sign, seeing the signs. What are some of the signs that you can share that maybe people are experiencing but are not aware of because they're not thinking of it that way?
Right. Well, the animals have a way of communicating with you, and that's usually them trying to let you know. Like, I had a squirrel was acting really funny around me. Um, Yeah, the squirrel was, like, sitting there eating a nut, and it was right after my brother died, And I looked over and he was throwing his head back as he was trying to swallow the nut. And I'm thinking, that's awful weird. What's he doing? Well, here, that's the way I take my pills. I always throw my head back when I'm taking my pills, and I'm thinking, oh, that's my brother making fun of me how I take my pills. So if you see the animals acting a little strange around you, that's usually them trying to get through to you. Yeah, and then there was the black crow one time. I was sitting out at break at my job, and he was like sitting on the trash can digging for trash. And, I didn't have anything to eat for him or anything, but he kept cackling at me. And then he began to jump around the table and he was jumping on the seat next to me. And I wasn't really afraid of him. I was just looking at him like, what's this crow doing? And then he gets back up on the trash can, he yells some more at me, and then flies off. And I'm thinking, that's so strange. Well, that happened to be the day before my dad's birthday. So I was thinking, well, maybe that was him, trying to say hello or whatever. But my brother was also dying at that time from cancer. So it was just a way of letting me know that, he was with me. Um,
That's amazing. And I don't
yeah.
know if you know, but in animal totem and in a lot of indigenous tribes, crows are considered messengers.
Yes. Yes. In fact, I looked it up when I went back into the office and I said, "Oh God, what's happening?" But there's also thoughts they'll give you. Like if you think of somebody and then you're like, see something, that's usually them trying to get through to you. Like my brother will talk to me a lot of times through my thoughts. In fact, he told me when I was retiring. It was right before I retired, and I had made my creative room out of my sunroom. And I heard a thought in my mind saying, that's going to be your office. And I'm like, yeah, someday. He's like, no, it's going to be your office sooner than you think. And here I was laid off a month later.
Well, at
So
least you had warning.
yeah, yeah. So it's different things that can happen. You could hear a song on the radio that reminds you of them. You could see a bulletin board or something on TV that comes in, that reminds you of them. That's them usually talking. They're not going to appear to you like in their regular form that you remember them because they'll scare you. So they give you little signs to let you know that they're still with you.
Right, and that's a really good thing to point out. The little things that we see and dismiss
Mhm.
could be signs. And I want to be transparent and with you and the audience. And when I was reading your bio and about your book, you mentioned, and sorry, I'm going to look it up so I
Uh-huh.
pronounce it right. It's cartomancy. What
Right.
is cartomancy?
That's the reading of the cards, like the playing cards. You,
Okay.
yeah, sometimes you can do fortunes with them. In fact, I have a book called by Regina Russell, and she gives the explanation of each playing card, what it can mean. And if you do a layout, you can read the cards and what it's saying to you. Now, I also do oracle cards, which that goes off of your vibration, your energy. And I can do them and get like pull a card one day that might give me a message that that relates to something I'm going through that day. So I work with them too.
So I get asked a lot, and I have my own theory, but I'm curious your theory. What is the difference, if any, between oracle cards and tarot cards?
Tarot cards are more they give you pictures and the picture tells you what the message really is. But I don't like to play with them because I heard there's spirits attached to them. So I usually just let the psychics deal with them. So when I go to a psychic, they'll do a tarot reading for me. But the oracle cards I can do myself because I think it goes off our vibration. It's more or less telling us where we're at in our vibration. Like if we're upset about something, we might get a card that relates to that. So we can say,
Okay.
oh, yeah.
So, and an interesting question I have for you, and I'm not sure if you've ever been asked this, is with writing your book, what was the moment that you were like sitting down and going, okay, now is the time to write this book. I need to write this now.
Yeah, when I got so many signs, I thought there is just too many signs that I'm getting that I have to record these. Somebody needs to read these. And my purpose of writing the book was to help people who are grieving that get stuck and think they're never going to see or hear from their loved one. And I wanted to make sure I got my signs out that they could look for their own signs. So I wanted to help people who are grieving to get past that stage and know that you're not alone. They're with you all the time.
Yeah. So, when was the first time you experienced a sign and was like, oh, I have this gift?
It was at my 50th birthday when I realized that my father had come to me. And
Okay.
then my sister also came to me in human form. I used to say to her, aren't we having fun? When she'd get all stressed out and she went, no, I'm not having any fun. Well, after she passed, about, I guess it was 6 months, and my brother was dying of cancer at that time, and I was going into his house. I'd just gotten out of the car, and I was ready to head into his house. And this car was sitting there. I don't know where it came from. I didn't hear it come up. It was like an old 50s Chevy. And in the front seat was this man. He had like blonde, yellow, stringy hair. And he leans across the seat and he goes, are you having fun? I went, yeah. And he went, oh, good. And then it pulled away. And I'm watching the car go up. And I'm like, what is going on? I said, why did he ask me that? And I never seen the car again. Never, like I live in a mobile home park. I never seen that car before, and I never seen it ever since. So yeah, they can come back in human form to you and let you know. And then she got through to me, my brother and my sister, my other sister. She gave me that sign with the car. My brother, he was on a feeding tube. So one day I walked into his bedroom and he goes, what's this doing here? And I'm looking and I'm like, what? And he goes, this silverware. What's it doing sitting here? And it was sitting at the edge of his bureau. And it was two knives crossed over a fork. And he goes, I wouldn't even use that silverware if I was using silverware. I went, I don't know. And I said, well, why don't we just leave it here in case it moves, well, no. And he goes, if it moves, I'm getting out of here. But I told him, I said, that looks like the Eucharistic symbol for the Catholics. I said, you know how Pat was with the religion.
Yeah.
And then that was his sign. And then my sister called me one day and she said her kids were asking what she was trying to text the night before. And I said, she goes, I wasn't texting. And she went to her phone and here the word God was on the phone. And I said, oh my gosh. I said, Peggy, that was her word. I said, I asked them what our words would be in case we went to a psychic and we would know if we were talking to them. I said, her word was God. I said, mine was diamond and Frank's was hoagie. I said, that was her word. I said, there's your sign. So she got through to all three of us.
That's incredible. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering, as you were growing up, was there any signs of, seeing things differently or an awareness, kind of like a something that happened that made what happened to you at 50 seem calm and not so scary?
Not so much as I was growing up. I guess maybe I was unaware at the time. I was busy doing other things. It just seemed at 50, I started to notice things starting to happen. They were trying to get through to me. And it happened a lot after my brother and sister both passed. It was almost like they're saying, "Stay over there. You've got work to do. Don't try to follow us." Because I developed breast cancer after my brother passed. And it was almost like they were giving me signs to say, "No, no, don't come over here. You've got work to do over there. Stay over there." And they were letting me know they were still with me.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're doing better.
I'm doing good. I'm cured.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I've been 6 years clean.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's a celebration in itself.
Yes. 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 And my father, he came to me in spirit in my bedroom one night. And this is when my brother was, passing. I was going through this by myself basically because my sister was in Pennsylvania. I was down here in Florida dealing with it. And my father wanted to let me know that he was with me. And when he was alive, when he come into my bedroom and I'd be listening to music with the earphones on, he would put his hand on my head. And I come awake startled, like, what's going on? Well, here I was sleeping in the bed and the door was shut and I was facing the other wall and I felt somebody touch me. And I rolled over. I was like, "Who's there? Who's there?" And I seen this dark figure standing beside the bed. And he was kind of tall. And I looked at him and I'm thinking, "Who's that? What's going on here?" And I really wasn't scared. I was just wondering, What's that?" Well, then all of a sudden he started fidgeting with his pants and backed up against like the chest of drawers and slowly began to fade away. And he had like blonde swept up hair. He was bare chested with pants on. And I'm thinking, "Oh." And I thought, yeah, that was probably dad because he always used to come into my room and like touch me on the head. And this time he touched me on the back of my neck. And then I went over to my son's room when he was living with me and I said, "I think somebody was in my room." And he was very calm about it. He did not jump up and run over into my room or anything. He was like, "Well, who do you think it was?" So he didn't get excited about it at all. He just thought, "Yeah, okay, mom."
I wonder, does he have the same awareness that you do of the signs
I
and have
think
that
he
gift?
has a little psychic ability, like, he can tell when things are not right, like, he can tell when things are a little weird, but he doesn't let it in. He doesn't pay attention to it. He doesn't like to pay attention to it too much.
Yeah,
But
we're
he
kind of.
yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, society kind of shies us away from it, where we should be embracing it. I think.
Yes. Yes. Mhm. Yes, and my sister, she just lost her husband last year. And she got a message from him because she went over to his grave and she had put him in hospice because she realized he wasn't going to get any better. And she went over to his grave and she was crying, thinking, "Oh, I hope I did the right thing for you." And then a couple days later, her daughter brought in the mail and she goes, "Dad sent you a message." And she was like, "What?" And here a card had come from this company with a diamond necklace with a message, "I will love you always. I loved you then. I love you still. I will always love you. James." And that was what she called him. And I said,
Wow.
there's your sign." So she's got another sign. She sees a lot of cardinals in her bird feeder now. And she notices some things when she'll say something, she'll get a response. Like, I think her granddaughter was playing on TV in a field hockey game, and his picture was sitting there, and she said, "Oh, come on, Pop Pop, help her get a score." And she said, not 5 minutes later, there it was. She had scored. So I said, "Yeah, see, he's with you." Yeah.
I wonder if that counts as interference and too many players on the field.
Yeah. But I also just got signs the last 2 nights I started getting signs. I just put up my Christmas pitch or Christmas decorations, And my sister's birthday was on Friday, and I had said happy birthday to her. Well, last year when I said happy birthday to her, I had a season's greeting sign on the wall in my dining room. And I was sitting in the living room, and my dining room and living room kind of blend together. And when I said happy birthday to her, I heard shh. And I thought, what was that? And here the season's greeting sign had fallen off the wall. And I thought, oh, you're cute, aren't you? But this year I didn't have them up yet. So when I put the sign up, I thought, well, I already said happy birthday to you, so you can't knock this one over. And I'm sitting there, I think it was Sunday night, watching a football game, and I have a diamond art picture of her dog with a halo around it. And it looks just like her dog. And all of a sudden that picture fell off the wall. It's been up for months, and all of a sudden just fell off the wall. I said, oh, I guess you're telling me you heard me. And then last night I was sitting there watching a football game again, and I have a snowman picture that I painted. And my dad's he always loved Christmas. He loved Christmas. That was his season. And don't you know the snowman picture fell off the wall? I said, oh, now you're here.
Everyone's coming to visit. Tis the season.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I'm kind of curious because a lot of times people will say all of these gifts are kind of passed down through family,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of times will favor the matriarchal side or the mother side, the
Right.
maternal.
Right.
I'm curious, with you, did either of your parents have this or grandparents have it or
I don't know. Maybe my grandparents did. I think I was told they used to be a little psychic, like they could tell things. But I know my niece, she can feel things. Like the house I grew up with, she always said, I didn't like that house. That house was something wrong with it. And like she can go in somewhere and feel like the different energy, and she'll be like, no, no, I don't want to stay here. So she can feel it.
wow.
Yeah.
So it seems like you each have your own individual
Mhm.
essence of it, but similar. So that's kind of
Right.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're talking about cartomancy. There's a card for each of our birthdays. And the six of clubs seems to be the psychic card, and that's my son and that's my niece's card. So they each have that kind of psychic ability, even though they don't tune into it really well.
And I'm kind of curious with I know the tarot and playing cards
Mhm.
have similar history because they both were originally designed as games,
Right.
and then people figured out what really was going on.
Right.
Do you feel like the playing cards are maybe older and have different wisdom in it, or are they about the same age and it just determines how you read them?
I guess it determines how you read them. I find the playing cards have more meanings to them, and they're harder to read because you have to kind of know each meaning. And, there's a whole bunch of meanings to the playing cards. Where the tarot, it's just a picture and that has like just one meaning to it. But the playing cards you can apply like for health or for anything. And it's like 15 different meanings you can apply to it. So that's why sometimes I really don't know what the card means until it actually happens, and I'll go back and look at it and go, "Oh, that's what it meant." But the tarot I find is better, and that's I don't play with them. I let the psychics do that for me.
Right, and I can
Yeah.
respect that. And I'm curious because I know the king, queen, and the jack and the ace, if I'm not mistaken, are considered the major arcana of playing cards,
Right. Right.
and that has its own meaning. But is it? the diamond or the club has particular meaning that sets the
Yes.
message to it, or how do you read a
The
playing
diamonds
card?
are more money related. Like if you're a diamond card, you're more money related in your thinking. The spade are workaholics. I know some spade cards, and they're workaholic people. The clubs are more like the college kids. They want to learn everything. And the hearts are like the children of the deck. They're very sensitive. They're very emotional. You say stuff to them, they'll take it to heart. And like, if they really like you, though, you're part of their family. So I know a lot of heart people too that act that way. But I'm a diamond, so I can see my focus is a lot on money all the time. I'm always focused on the value of things.
Right. And I'm a little curious because I know we were discussing like the tarot pictures have singular meanings, and I'm gonna step aside from that for a moment. And I know if I, it's been a while since I looked at a regular playing deck, but I believe there is the King of Hearts is the one that has the sword through the head that some call the Suicide King.
Yeah, I don't know. The
Is
King of
that,
Hearts is the emotional family man. He's usually a family man,
I know
according.
it's one of the
Yeah,
major arcana that's the red deck, the red side.
yeah, yeah.
But does that have a different meaning in cartomancy than the others? Because it's like the only one that's like it.
Um, yeah. Most of the kings are the people. The kings, queens, and jacks are all people. So they're the like the King of Hearts can be the family man. The King of Diamonds is the financial man. The King of Clubs is they're like he's learning. You learn stuff through him. And the King of Spades is like the strongest card. That's supposed to be the strongest card. And anything you wish for when you have the King of Spades, you can get.
Yes. I
So,
just looked it up. It is the King of Hearts, is the one that they say
hmm
appears to be stabbing himself in the head.
yeah, yeah. Well, I can imagine because they're the emotional people. They take everything to heart. So if something's upsets them, I can see why that picture is with the stabbing of the head there.
I wonder if that card is the equivalency to the Tarot's death card, because everybody goes on face value of seeing death or the word death and goes, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die." And it's like, no, it's a
But
transformation card. It's not,
yes.
no one's dying. So
No, yeah,
let's
when you get
take a
that death
breath.
card, it could be the death of a relationship, it could be the death of something you valued, now you're changing your mind about it.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't
So
always mean physical death. Yeah.
right. So I'm wondering if that could be what the King of Hearts is showing, like
Mhm.
with the emotions of the death of an old relationship pattern
Yeah,
or
right.
something.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be.
Because I wonder if, if people even notice. It's like it took me a while looking at the playing deck until somebody mentioned it to even really notice that,
Mhm.
yeah, that card is the only card in the deck. And when you're doing cartomancy, do you use the jokers or do the jokers
No.
take
No, I
out?
don't use the jokers. No, I just use the regular deck itself.
Okay.
Yeah, and in that Virginia Russell's book, she has layouts. And you can do a layout and you can see the past, the present, what's coming up, what's holding you back from moving forward, and the future. So sometimes I was able to read it and I'd see something and then it would happen. I'd be like, oh, I did that right. But then there's other times where I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
So what was like kind of, I like to call them the aha moments, where it's like an awareness awakening, where you were looking at the playing cards and were like, there's something more to these cards, and decided I'm going to go into cartomancy and learn to read these cards.
Yeah, I just kind of came into it. I didn't really want to learn how to read them. I had ordered this book, and I think it was by Robert Campbell. It's called Cards of Your Destiny. I had ordered that, and here he was showing you how to read your cards. And in that book, there's a card layout for every year of your life from 0 to 99. And it goes by the different planets, like 52 days of each month. Like when your birthday hits, you're in the Mercury, you're under Mercury planet. Then 52 later, you're in the Venus, and then 52 later, you go into Mars, and then 52 later, you're in Jupiter and Saturn and Uranus. So each period is a different section of your life that's happening. Now, the Jupiter is supposed to be a blessing. During that time, it's business and blessings. So I always like that section of, my life. But each planet covers a certain part of your life.
So I feel like I gotta ask this, because when cards were developed and all these decks were developed, we had a 9 planet system,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
now they've made us an 8 planet system. So does that weigh into cartomancy, with Pluto no longer being considered a major
Um
planet?
no, I never knew that. I mean, Pluto in the reading of the cards is usually your challenge. That's your challenge for the year.
It makes sense why science would
Yeah.
eliminate it then, because
Yeah.
they came out probably 5 to 10 years ago and said, "Oh, Pluto is no longer a major planet; it's a dwarf planet. We're
Well, it's not affecting
downgrading
the
it."
cards because they still include that in the card reading.
That's good. I like that,
Mhm.
because I'm like, I kind of took the offense to that and going, who are these scientists that dictate who is and who isn't a planet?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. But I could tell when I was moving when I would get the 5 card. I understand the 5 card because that happens in Uranus or Uranus. I don't know how to say that. But I was moving, my apartment building was being sold, and I wasn't sure when it was going to be sold, but I seen the 5s in the Uranus period, and that's exactly when it got sold. So I was glad I found that out. It's like, oh, that's when it's going to be sold. So yeah.
Yeah, that would have been helpful probably to a lot of people.
Mhm. Mhm. And then when my brother was dying, he was saying, "Well, what's my card saying? What's my card saying?" I said, "You have a lot of 5s, and that means you're changing real estate or something." And I said, "I wonder where we're going because we live in the same mobile home park." He goes, I'm going up. That's where I'm going." And I I was just laughing, but I'm thinking, "Oh God, he could be right." And sure enough, he died that year with all those 5s in his layout. And I was like, "Oh, I was hoping I was going to be wrong."
So I, I just had a curious thought, because there's all these people who talk about like angel numbers, where they
Mhm.
see like 555
Oh
or
yeah.
333,
Mhm.
1111,
Yes.
and I wonder, because they're seeing like 555, is that a sign that they need to go look at what card 5 is for them?
Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot. I've been getting a lot of those double digit numbers. I get 555 a lot, and I'll look it up and it says transformation, something's changing. Or 1111 I get a lot, and that usually means an angel is there. Like that's your angels talking to you. They're just letting you know that, hey, we're here. But all the different digits mean something. And most of the time when I look them up, it just means something's going to be changing, So it's like, well, yeah, my life is changing. But I've been
Right.
seeing a lot of stuff on the clocks. 7-Eleven, my birth date, 6/8, and it's just basically changes are happening. So that's the way they communicate sometimes to let you know that they're trying to get through to you. So they'll show you the same number over and over again.
Right. And it's interesting that there's 13 cards to a suit if
Mhm.
you go ace to king. And I was thinking, if you're interpreting the sign and you see 1111, would you be saying, okay, I need to go check out the jack? Or would it be the one? Because the jack is 11,
Mhm.
but a one is the ace. So which card really would the message
Yeah.
be a sign of? Because there's four ones, but there's also two 11s.
I never thought of it that way. I never associated the times with the cards.
Oh,
But that's a good
times
point.
or seeing it like on a billboard, you're just randomly driving and all of a sudden a billboard's like, hey, 1111, something. And it's like, okay, I see 1111.
Right. Yeah, you should
Mm,
take note of that because that means either you should make a wish or just know that your angels are with you at that time.
If you're on the
Yeah.
road, I would hope it's the angels are with you.
Yeah, yes. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, but they communicate through the numbers. That's the way they'll talk to you. They'll show you numbers in repetition sometimes just to get through to you.
Yeah.
And I'll keep saying, I keep seeing 555 or I keep seeing 444. What's going on here?
I wonder, have you ever done cartomancy and you're looking at the five of diamonds and you're like,
Uh-huh.
well, this isn't resonating with me. Let me go check the oracle cards. Do you ever do that? When the card just doesn't feel right, so you go, okay, let's go check
No,
an oracle card.
no, usually if it doesn't resonate with me, I'll have to wait and see what happens. And then when something happens, I'll be like, oh, that's what it was referring to. Sometimes I just wait for stuff to play itself out, and then I'll look back at the cards and go, oh, that's what that meant.
Oh, you have more patience than me. I'd be
Yeah.
like on the tarot deck, the oracle deck. I'd be like, I want these answers. You're showing me this me now. I want the answers
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, like usually I pull an oracle card from the Ask Your Guides deck, which is Sonia Choquette. Do you know her? She
I
talks to the
haven't.
guides.
The name
Yeah,
doesn't sound familiar, but I've heard of the deck.
right. But her guides are really communicating with her, and she made a deck up of Ask Your Guides. So sometimes I'll pull a card every morning to see what's going to happen. And sometimes I don't know what it means, and I'll just hold on to it for the day to know, like, maybe, it'll come through. And sometimes it doesn't come through that day, it might come through sometime that week. And then I'll think about that card, like, oh, that's what it was. So sometimes they're predicting something that's close in the future to you.
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that you're seeing the signs and putting it together quick because
Mhm.
I like to laugh and say I was getting signs, but I was not paying attention until they took the cosmic 2 by 12 across my head.
Yeah.
And then I would pay attention and be like, okay, I got it. I'm paying attention now.
Yes, they pound me on the head because I write them down, what card I pull. And sometimes I'll pull the same card 3 days in a row. And I'm thinking, "What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?" Like, I pulled a balance card 3 days in a row. I'm like, "Oh god, I'm really out of balance, or what are you trying to tell me?"
So, do you do cartomancy on yourself?
Sometimes I do. I haven't been playing with that so much as mostly the oracle cards now. But I used to do a layout every 2 months. Now, with this beginning of the year coming, I'll do an astrology wheel for myself. And that's putting 12 cards in a circle. And then you read them like how the cards are. And I know the main card for this year, when I pulled it last January, was doctors. And I have been going to a lot of doctors this year. So I was like,
Well, here's hoping no
yeah,
more doctors next year.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm kind of curious if you've ever been in a situation when you were reading for yourself, if like you saw the three cards and you're like, nope, I don't want to look at this,
Uh-huh,
and you
uh-huh.
shuffle in the same do the and you draw again, and you're like, okay, I got the same
Yeah.
three cards, I have to look at this now, or what do you do when the cards change? Do you go like, okay, so they're gonna let me skate on that one? Now let's
Well,
look at this one.
sometimes they don't like you to keep asking the same question. You're not trusting the card. So I'll leave those 3 cards and maybe rephrase the question and pull another card, and then I'll get, like, a weird answer, and I'm thinking, "That doesn't help me," so I just have to meditate on it, that maybe it'll come to me, what they're trying to tell me. But if you keep, like, trying to ignore the cards, they're not gonna talk to you. They get, like, "You're not paying attention here." So, they say, "Don't question the cards. When you pull something, just accept it and know that it'll come to you eventually."
Yeah. So I have an interesting question because you had mentioned in the beginning that you wrote this book about the signs and everything and your story.
Mhm.
When you were writing it and getting ready to publish it, what was your like motivation and goal that you set for this book?
Well, it was really to help people. I knew that people were stuck in grief because I could read, like, the Facebook boards. Everybody's like, "Oh, I miss my husband, or I miss my son, I miss," and they can't move on. And I've seen it with people. They just stop when this person dies. They think they can't live any longer. And I wanted to let people know, like, no, they're giving you signs. They're still with you. That was the purpose of why I wrote the book. And when I asked the psychic about it, because I like to go to psychics, and I was saying my book, and she goes, "That's what spirit led. You're going to get that book will find its way into the hands of people that really need it." So I was like, yeah, that's what I wanted it for. So that was my goal of writing that book, because I know people needed to hear my signs and know that my family's not special. They got through to me. They're probably talking to you too.
Right, and I love when guests answer questions and their answer like totally answers my next question without me getting a chance to ask it. 'Cause I was gonna ask, what is your hope with this book? But I was like, you just pretty much laid it out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like, that was cool.
Mhm.
So maybe you do have a little psychic in you.
Hey, never know. I think we're all psychic to a certain point. We all have it. That's what the psychics always say. It's like, you don't need me. You just need to tune in. We
Yeah.
all have the psychic ability.
And I wonder, as you're talking about signs and everything, have you ever been like somewhere and you take a photo and then you go back and look at it and go, wait, what is this? And have like something that what you don't remember being there in the
Well,
photo.
the cover of my book. If you notice the cover of my book, there's a spirit with that dog. And that's the second picture of that spirit with that dog. I was looking for another picture that I had. She was sitting in front of the coffee table, and she was actually looking up at the spirit, and it looked like a kid with a big head reaching out to her. And she was looking at it. And I was trying to find that picture for the cover of the book. And I said to my son, "Look for that picture again." Well, he found the picture that's actually on the cover of the book. And I was like, "That's the second picture." I said, "That's not the same picture." So yeah, we have pictures of a ghost in our family album. And that's the picture I put on the book, because that
That's
looks like
really
a
cool.
spirit. It's a spirit of a kid or something. But it's connected to that dog because we had other pictures with dogs and we've never seen that spirit with it. So I don't know if she brought that spirit with her when she came to live with us, or it was already in the house and just connected with that dog.
That raises a good question because people rescue dogs or cats,
Mhm.
and I don't think anybody ever thinks about what is attached to this dog or cat that I'm bringing
Mhm.
into the house. We just view it as, oh, we're helping this poor little
Right. Right.
feline or critter, and it's like, yeah, so that's a really good perspective to think about is, when activity starts picking up, going,
Yeah.
it's not what I brought in, it's what the four-legged brought in or
Right.
what the
Yeah.
pet brought in.
Yeah, and when we took that picture, it was back in the 70s or the 80s, and you had to go and get your film developed. So we didn't know at the time till we got the film back, and then we were like, "What is this?" And we thought maybe it was smoke or something, but then as we looked at it, we said, "No, this looks like a ghost."
Yeah, and I mean, and people could say, in those days, double exposure, it
Uh-huh.
could be an image from another picture bleeding over. But the fact that you say it's dark, I
Uh-huh.
would say is not a double exposure because I doubt you were sitting there taking pictures of
No.
people shadowed on the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
So that is a uniqueness to itself too that lends credibility to the image
Right.
because yeah, I mean it would just be weird if you're going around and photographing the shadows on the ground and then get that photo and being like, "Ooh, we got a spirit." It's like, well, actually, you were photographing
Yeah.
shadows. I think one of them maybe came over and lined up just right, and even that seems to be miraculous. So
Yeah,
I'm
but the
glad
dog's
you.
actually looking at this ghost, so that proves that there was something there because she's looking right
Yeah,
at it. Yeah.
yeah, and it's amazing that you saw it because so many people, I bet, have looked through all their photos and just were
Mhm.
like, nope, this didn't take or that didn't take. And
Yeah.
how many spirits were trying to say hello
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
got tossed out?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's very true. And, like, I sage my house, like, once in a while when I have a lot of people in and out, like repairmen or even me just coming back and forth because 'cause I'm picking up energies. And sometimes I'll feel, like, really down and out, and I don't know why I'm down and out and feeling all depressed and all. I think, "Oh, I need to sage this house." And as soon as I do, I feel so much better. And you have to sage all the doorways and yourself and go through each room, and they say leave a door open so the negative energy can get out. So, yeah, sometimes when you're feeling down and out, you should sage your house because you brought in some energies or some energies stuck in there.
Yeah. So I actually have a kind of deep question
Mhm.
that I've never asked a guest, but for some reason it's popping in my head with you.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to ask it. You are totally a choice to answer it or say, no, I don't want to answer that. It's not a bad question. I'll
Okay.
preface that. So the question that's coming in my head is you today, what would you turn around and say to your younger self to kind of give wisdom to what's coming?
Okay. Um, I would say to my younger self, pay attention more because I think I was flying by the seat of my pants most of my younger years. And I just didn't pay attention to a lot of things. I'd say to myself, pay attention more.
Yeah. Well,
Take
that's
time to think
understandable.
things through.
Yeah. I mean,
because
it
a
was
lot
the
of times I just
70s and
made
80s.
instant decisions.
I mean, it was the 70s and 80s. It wasn't exactly the
Yeah,
slow times.
right, right. But yeah, I would tell myself to slow down and pay attention and think things through before jumping. But that's my astral sign. I'm a Gemini, so Geminis don't think too much. We're going from one thing to another.
Which is rather unique and interesting because I was thinking to following up that question of, you know, sharing that, that I almost wanted to go and say, well, what would your younger self say about you today?
It would say I got smarter. Thank God you got smarter and start making stronger decisions.
Well, and I kind of wonder from, hearing both sides of it, if your younger self would say, thank you for paying attention now.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yes. Because in the beginning, when I was younger, I was making some bad decisions. I was like, what am I doing? So
Yeah.
I'm glad I think things through more now.
And an interesting question that a lot of people ask, and this, I'm not prefacing this with age or ageism or anything, but if you could go back in time, would you go back in time and change anything, or would you leave the course of history as is?
Hmm. Yeah, I thought about that sometimes because, like, I think I shouldn't have gotten married to the man I did. But then I think again, I wouldn't have the son I have. But I often talk to him about this. He goes, well, maybe I'd be in a different body. You would still have me sometime, but I'd just be in a different body. And I thought, yeah. But I think I learned a lot through marrying the man I did because it taught me a lot about relationships and addiction. And so, yeah, I learned a lot through it. So maybe I wouldn't change anything because I wouldn't be the strong woman I am today if I hadn't gone through those experiences.
See, I love how you said that because I think so many people jump at the opportunity to go, yeah, I'd correct this mistake, I'd correct this mistake, and my
Right,
life would be so much better. But when we think about it, it's like, would it be though? Or could it
right,
be even worse?
mhm,
Because what you went through forged you. So
right,
if you remove that, you change who you are now. And
right,
so I like how you put that. It, forged you, as you said.
mhm,
And so I
mhm,
appreciate that because I
yes,
don't think a lot of people think about that.
right. Yeah, they say you can put all your mistakes in a pile and you can pick out whatever you want, and you'd still take back your same problems.
Yeah. So do you have any plans on writing any other books
Well, I
or?
am working on a short story book with the afterlife. It's the fiction. There are a lot of fiction stories. I'm working on that, trying to see if I can get that together. I don't know if an agent will pick that up, or I might have to self-publish that one too. But I like the afterlife stories, and I always have a lot of fiction stories for the afterlife. So I'm working on a couple stories for the afterlife.
Yeah, I would recommend self-publishing first and getting your material out, and then
Right. Well, I'm hoping
secondary
this
stuff.
book will lead the way, and
Yeah,
then maybe a publisher can help me publish the next one.
yeah, because I think it's important to get your word and your story and your verbiage out before handing it to somebody. And that
Mhm.
was my worries when I published my books, was if I give it to a company and they're going to be like, we don't want this, we don't want
Right.
this won't sell, this won't sell. And I'm like, you have now shredded my story.
Right. Right.
And this is not me. It's no longer me. So,
Right, right. Yeah, you run the risk of doing that. And that's when I wrote this story. I knew that I was going to have to self publish it and I wanted it to get out there. And I said, I can't wait around for an agent to pick this up. I'm going to have to do it. So I did.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations on your book.
thank you. Yes, I'm glad I finally got it out there because I know it needed to get out there and help people.
And you got it out in time for Thanksgiving
Hmm.
and Christmas.
Yeah, it came out around Easter. In fact, the person I was dealing with, my writing coach, she was like, "Well, this is sort of about resurrection. They're coming back." So I put it out around April 18th.
That was smart.
Yeah, yeah. So now it's around the holidays. I'm thinking of doing a YouTube video to let people know that this book is out there for them.
So, one question I think I have for you dealing with afterlife, since you brought it up,
Hmm.
is do you think reading the cards and seeing these signs, 50 on, you have a different view of the afterlife than you did growing up? Or
Yeah.
did it kind of just sharpen it and you're like, nope, I've always known, and this just validated everything I thought?
No, I've changed my views of the afterlife since I've gotten my signs. I know now not to be afraid of death, that I'm just going to transform. Energy doesn't die. So I'll leave this body and I'll be in energy, and maybe I'll come back in another body, but energy doesn't die, and we're all energy. So we're not going to die. It's just the body dies, not us, not
Right.
our consciousness.
So, do you have a feeling from your experiences what you think it's going to be like as you change to the next energy phase?
Well, I think we're all like pieces of the same puzzle. Like we're each a piece. And you put us all together, we're going to form the picture. So I think we're each a piece of the same energy, like the God force. We're all pieces of that God force. And we're all doing our own little thing and learning our own little experiences. And then you put us all together and we form the picture. So that's the way I feel like we are. We're pieces of a puzzle.
That's a
We're all
beautiful way
coming
to look
from,
at it.
yeah, we're all coming from the same source.
Yeah, so you don't, well, I'm not even going to ask beyond that because you said it so well. I'm like, anything I ask is just going to repeat the same answer. So I'm not even going to try.
Hmm.
But I do have an interesting question for you that if you need time to think about, you can.
Hmm.
And that is, what advice do you have for people in seeing the signs, interpreting them, and dealing with them?
Well, they're each going to be personal. And I'd say don't really tell people about your sign until you're sure that you can, accept it for what it is, because they'll talk you right out of it. They'll tell you you're crazy, it's your imagination, and you'll start to miss your sign because you'll believe them. But when you know it's resonating with you, nobody's going to be able to talk you out of it. So make sure you get a hold of it before you go sharing it with anybody.
That's really cool. And I have to admit, there's been a couple of times that I look like I might have been chuckling on the show as you were talking because
Hmm.
you kept saying the phrase, here's your sign. And I kept thinking of the Blue Comedy Tour
Yeah,
comedian that uses
Angle.
that. And I'm like, I wonder if he's been, kind of dropping some insights to people, trying to wake them up to sign.
Right, right. But yeah, I
Well,
find the signs resonate with you, and you're the only one that can believe it. And you try to tell people, and they're like, "Nah, that wasn't that," but it really meant something. So don't believe people sometimes because they'll talk you right out of your sign, and then you're like, "Oh, I ain't getting no signs," and you did.
yeah. So we're actually at the hour mark. Do
Uh huh.
you have time to go a little bit more, or do you
Sure.
need to go?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So if somebody had a question about the afterlife or something, would you, and I know this is a loaded question because you are an author now, would you be like, here, read my book, see what you think? Or would you be like, well, here's who I got some of my basis of what the afterlife is like. Read this first, then read this and see what you think.
Right. I've read some afterlife books. I think April Crawford, she's a channeler, and the spirits actually come into her body and they write messages of how they died and what happened afterwards. And there's a book out there called Direct Messages from the Afterlife. And there's a bunch of stories in there talking about these people that have died and what they felt like when they died and where they went afterwards and, you know, what happened. So I love stories like that.
I
And
gotta say, I love the fact that you didn't go get my book
no,
and try to
no,
push your book, that you actually honestly answered and said, these who helped me. So
right,
I appreciate that, and I see that, and I like that you do that because I know some people will sit there and go, "Oh well, read my book because I got an entire chapter based for that, and it'll totally help you." And it's like, not if they don't have a basis line.
right, right. Yeah, no, my book is basically on my experiences. Everybody's going to have their different experiences. So, I mean, you can't really go off of my book because that's just my experiences. You could have a totally different experience.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you ever come across people like at the store or out and about, and they're like, you see them looking at a bird and being like, or something, they're staring off at something and going, and walk up to them and go, "Did you just see a sign?"
No, I never came across that. I've had people come up to me and act a little weird. Like this one man came to me when I was wearing my mask, and he comes up, and I was looking for a bakery item for a barbecue. And he goes, "Oh, is that monster still out there?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he starts talking about the government. And then he starts referring me to the Jesuits. You go home and look up the Jesuits. They'll tell you they're based on like law of attraction and making things happen for yourself. But when he was talking to me and kind of directed me to the Jesuits, he kind of commanded me, "You go home and look at the Jesuits." And then when he walked away, I thought, God, he has some nerve. But then I realized that was somebody trying to tell me something. So
I don't know.
yeah, that was really weird the way that happened because again, I never seen that man again.
Yeah. You see, this is why I love talking with guests because I totally would have, in that experience, my go to method is you totally just like were, I would view it as being rude talking to me like that. And
Mhm.
so everything you just said just went in one ear, out the other.
Right, right.
And I'm giving no credence or time to you whatsoever.
Yeah, but then again, like I said, it could have been somebody trying to tell me something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to take it, the way you want it. But a lot of things that happen to me anymore, I know they're not coincidence. There's a reason for it to happen.
Yeah. Do you find that the signs are signs versus just everyday things because of the way it resonates with you?
Yes. Yes, if it resonates with me, then I really know it's a sign.
Yeah.
Some things can happen, I'll be like, "Oh, that's just something." Like with the story about Brandy in the book, the dog walking into the restaurant that looked exactly like her. I definitely knew that was her telling me I made it through. Now, I could see a Papillon out in the street and wouldn't have thought twice about it. I was, "Oh, there's another Papillon." But since it walked into a restaurant where dogs aren't allowed and it looked exactly like her, I was like, "Ah, that's definitely a sign."
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. And so, do you? I almost what it's going to say. Do you have any events coming up or anything? But I would think it's too soon, really,
Yeah.
to be on that circuit.
Yeah, I mean, the psychics are telling me I'm gonna be traveling around, and they're saying you're going to different cultures and stuff, and I'm like, "Really?" And I asked the one psychic, she goes, "I think you're going with a bunch of other speakers about this stuff." I said, "Oh." So, I don't know if that's true or not, but sometimes they tell me the truth and stuff happens. Like the one psychic I went to, she told me I was gonna retire sooner than I thought, and I did. So it'll be interesting to see if what this one psychic tell me I'm gonna be traveling to different cultures is gonna happen.
Wow. So I'm okay. So I got an interesting question that just came into my mind. With we're talking about the holiday seasons right now. We just got off Thanksgiving. For those who celebrate it, everybody celebrates either Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, something in December.
Mhm.
So, do you think because of like certain holidays bring more signs than other times?
Yes. Yeah. I think that the people are suffering more and calling on the loved ones, and they wanna help them, so they will try to get through to them. Because like I said, they're with us all the time. They don't wanna see you suffering. So I think they will try to get through to you. Like mine are knocking over pictures in my house. I'm like, "All right, I know you're here."
At least they're not breaking anything.
Yeah, that's why I say, "All right, don't knock any more pictures down. You're gonna break something." Do you get
So,
any signs?
you know, I don't know. I don't know that I would classify them as signs, but there are times where, like, somebody was asking me about going and traveling somewhere coming up, and I was like, and I took some time, and then I was like, no, I just feel like I need to be home at that time for that time frame, and maybe later, and that I guess could be a sign to, that or yeah, so that's the way my because I grew up metaphysical. I always step back when things come, look at it, going, what's the benefit? What's am I
Mhm.
giving up to do this? Am I not giving something up? So what's the benefit of going to this? What's the benefit of going here or there? And so that's where it drives my appearances. And
Mhm.
so I don't know if it's the way I'm doing it is I'm reading signs and going along with them, or if my mind doesn't see it as a sign, and so therefore it's like I wouldn't recognize a sign if it was like they say the snake right in front of me.
Right. No, your intuition is a sign. When you get a feeling about something, that's your guides trying to help you. Like, all of a
Okay.
sudden you remember something that you had to do, and you're thinking, all of a sudden you'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I have to do that." Well, that's them trying to remind you. I mean, it doesn't have to be major, profound, or anything. It could be very subtle. They're helping you with something. It could
Yeah.
be something simple, finding your keys. I mean, I'm always calling on the St. Anthony to help me find stuff.
Yeah. What was interesting is I don't know if this is a sign or was just a coincidence, but I had at one point, I think it was a couple years ago, my original Facebook profile went down and I had shows to do. Well, I had no way of reaching the guests, and all of a suddenly, it's like I would get flashes and be like, okay, let's look up their email address. Let's look up, are they in my phone? Do I happen to have their number? And everyone that I reached out to were like, oh, I thought we were done and you canceled because you disappeared. And I was like, nope, nope, we're still on. And so they were like, okay. And then I was
Mhm.
back on Facebook and rebuilt the list and everything. But certain guests that I was struggling to connect with, I was all of a suddenly connecting with. And my dad had recently passed around the same time. And so I was like looking up and going, thank you, Dad, because he said he was going to help me.
There you go.
And now that I look at it, I'm like, that could be a sign that, they
Yes.
are there helping. Is I was able to keep everything going and it was like nothing happened.
Yes. See? That's sign. That's they're always with us. In fact, if you listen to Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, did you ever hear of her?
I have.
And she does seminars, and she goes, we're all outnumbering you. She goes, you're all surrounded. She goes, we're outnumbering you. You're never alone. So yeah, you got your spirit guides, you got your angels, you got all these guides around you that are just waiting for you to ask for help. They can't interfere in your free will. So they always say, when I do my oracle cards, I'll say, ask for help. We can't interfere.
Yeah.
And I always do, ask for help. In fact, I asked for help before I did this podcast. I said, please give me the right words.
Well,
So
you're
yeah,
doing just fine.
thank you.
And I don't know if there's a metaphysical term. I was on an interview yesterday and I was talking about it because I put it in one of my books that I was promoting at the time. And it's the term called soul family, where
Yes.
and so I'm wondering, as soul family members come and go, for whatever purposes they are, I was taught they're only coming in to help with the lesson. Once it's learned, they moved on
Mhm.
or they stick around.
Right.
So instead of looking at it as, helping with the lessons and everything, are they in fact signs?
Yes. Yes. Mhm. Like I think it was Abraham that said you'll have a different, or maybe it was Sonia. She said you'll have a different guide helping you with it, whatever problem. If you have a problem with a certain thing, you'll get a different guide helping you. And then once that problem's solved, they'll leave. But you
Right.
might get a special guy coming in at a certain time for a certain problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I gotta admit, it kind of hearing that and understanding that kind of makes how you see the ebb and flow of people coming and going in people's lives. You,
Mhm.
you, you have a tendency not, I mean, it still hurts,
Right.
but it's not a like personal slap in the face, like, oh my God, kind of feeling. It's more like, okay, well, I guess
They
we
serve
learned what
a
we needed to
purpose.
learn and we're done.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why people come and go out of your life, because you learned whatever you had to learn, or taught them whatever you had to teach, and then they went away. Yeah. I mean, I had so many people in and out of my life from different jobs I was in. I thought, why was I always switching jobs all the time? I always seemed to something go wrong with the job and I get laid off. And I'm thinking, that's awful weird. But I guess I was just learning so much. They had to keep moving me. So,
Yeah, gotta keep active.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was just laughing about that because I had a training session this morning, and the personal trainer is always like, "Yeah, we got you got to keep active if you want to keep everything going
Mm-hmm.
strong, and just maintaining. You got to do it right though. You can't just
Right.
go and do everything the same every day and go, okay, I'm gonna be healthy." He's like, nope. It actually is quite the opposite. He goes, if you work on arms one day, the next day, if you go to the gym, you cannot work on arms because it doesn't help the body. And I was like, that was really good to hear and I view that as a sign
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, how many, times, in school and everything, we did the same thing every day and being told this is going to keep you fit.
Right, right. Yeah. But I find that you have to keep moving. Like you might have to learn a lesson and it might go away, that situation, but then it'll appear somewhere later in your life as something else. So if you don't solve that issue that you have, you'll get another chance at it.
Yes, I love to call it the onion effect. That
Yeah. Yeah.
you fix it and then you realize there's a deeper level
Yeah,
to it. So,
yeah, and then it comes back around again, and then you're like, I'm dealing with this again.
or my all-time favorite is you're like, I'm done with this, and then
Mhm.
something else happens, and you're like, wait,
Yeah.
this is like this, but this is done, and it's like this is coming out sideways. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're still not done. Now it's
Yep.
showing up over here.
Yep. Yeah. Sometimes you get a second chance at it, and sometimes you don't, and you might have to wait till another life comes around, then you're gonna play that same game again.
Oh, I don't know. I'm hoping learning and doing what I'm doing, I get a
Mhm.
vacation life the next one.
Okay. Yeah, you do have a resting life sometimes. I read it in one of my books. They said sometimes you get a resting life where nothing major's going on. You're just kind of skipping through life. And you hate the people that are getting those lives. And you're thinking, they have nothing to deal with. Well, you don't know what they were dealing with maybe in a previous life. Or
Yeah,
maybe they're resting up for another life that's going to really be, oh.
yeah.
So,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
they're in the calm before the storm kind of
right,
life.
right. Yeah. 'Cause we're not just here one time. I was always told I was here 1,000 times, like I'm an old soul. I'm thinking, "Why? Am I a dunce or something?" But maybe I just wanna keep coming back.
I
I'm
love
thinking,
it.
am I not learning?
I'm like, somebody told me I'm an old soul, and I was like, I feel honored. I feel privileged. I have a lot of wisdom, and your answer is, "Am I a dunce?" I'm like, wow, that thought never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Although I will admit, there are times that like I'll see patterns, and I'll be like, "Oh my god, am I a slow learner that this just keeps
Mhm,
happening?"
mhm. Yeah. But yeah, we've been here more the times than we can remember. I mean, we just keep coming back because we're creators. We like to create. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So that brings up an interesting question, and this will probably be the question to wrap up the show on.
Mhm.
Is remembering like or experiencing past lives. Do you think
Mhm.
that's a sign that the body, mind, spirit, energy, whatever you want to call it, is putting something in front of you and saying, please, God, work on this? We're
Yes.
showing this to you for a reason. Don't just sit there and go, oh, look, I was a monk in a past life.
Yes.
Yay. And
Yes.
Like,
Mhm.
totally missed the point.
Yeah, I think I went to a psychic back in my 20s, and he told me I was a gypsy over in Spain in the 1800s. And, I was taking money out of men's pockets and reading it. He goes, "You hurt a lot of men in that lifetime." And I was like, "Oh god." And I was married to the man I was married to, and he goes, "But this man helped you solve all that. He got it done for you. Your karma's paid." But I find I run into a lot of Spanish people now, and I'm thinking, "Are you a past life connection for me?"
Yeah. Do you want me to read your money?
But I do. I run into a lot of Spanish people. I'm thinking, why am I running into this Spanish people? So yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, but thank you. And thank you for sharing your story and your book
Mhm.
and everything. And I will say thank you for trusting me to come on to my show. And I do believe, if I remember even correctly, the chain of events was you actually approached me about
Yes.
coming on. And so thank you for trusting in me and my shows to come on.
Oh, thank you. I seen Dana Nochin on there because I had a podcast with her, and I seen her interviewing with her. I said he's dealing with the same stuff this book is about. I better tell him I can be on his show. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dana really kinda when I went to look and I'd seen her on your show, she kinda made me contact you.
Well, that's nice. I'll
Yeah,
let her know that because
yeah.
I was on her show last night
Oh, okay.
and I'll be back on December 22nd.
Oh, wow, okay. Right
So,
before Christmas.
right.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And I don't know when it'll go live, but so the difference is the Dana Nojigan, she likes to record hers and then put them out.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
mine are, when I say we're doing it, it's live, it's out, it's done.
Yes. Mhm.
And so don't go looking for my interview with her
Right. Yeah, I
last
know.
night because it's not out yet. So I
Right.
will let you all know when it's out. It'll be posted on my page. And
Okay, great.
so thank you. And I'm sure she will appreciate hearing that you came on my show because of
Mhm.
her. And so
Mhm.
that'll make her day.
Yes, yes. Yeah, me and Dana when I first recorded with her, it didn't take, so we had to do another interview.
Oh, I've had those.
Yeah, yeah,
I had several years of those where
uh-huh,
I would go and talk to somebody and leave with a cassette, and they're like, "Here's your recording," and then it'd be completely blank, and you're
uh,
like, "What happened?" I go, and I was like, I felt like this was the cop out of the year kind of response that I got to it
mhm,
was, "Well, when you're ready, they'll come and you'll be able to hear them." And I
right.
was like, so I waited like probably 15, 20 years, and I'm like, they're still not playable. So I was like, you know what? Whatever was on there, I probably already dealt with anyway. So I don't need these anymore. Let them
Right,
go.
right. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for having me. I appreciate that, and I hope, we get through to a lot of people.
Yes. And
Yeah.
maybe perhaps when your next book comes out, we can have you back on and talk about it.
Yes, yes, yes. 'Cause I am working on the chapters, and I'm hoping by next year because I retired late in the year, and I'm kinda just getting my schedule together.
Yeah, that's the
Now by
tricky part.
next year, I'll divide, I'll start focusing more.
Yep. And so I'm curious, since you have this one done and you're working on the next one,
Mhm.
are you then going to take a break, or are you going to keep writing and keep putting out more
I'm
books?
hoping to keep writing, but, this TV has gotten me hooked now. since I can watch TV all day. I
You
keep
gotta
telling
be
myself, "You've
careful
got a
about
brain."
television. I will say there is something funny about television, and
Uh-huh.
I never thought about this, and someone pointed out when you break it down, it's television. So
Yes,
it's
yes,
programming you, and they literally call the shows now programs. So
yes,
yes, do be advised if you're watching a lot of TV, you are getting mind control
programmed.
programming.
And I keep telling myself, I'm watching other people's creativity. I'm like, "You can create something better than what you're watching."
Yeah, it's like your story is way more
Yeah.
entertaining than this soap opera I'm watching.
Yes, uh-huh. Uh,
All right, well, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season,
yes,
and
you too.
we will look forward to reconnecting in
Yes,
2026.
yes. And thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yes, it was my privilege, and to anyone out there, if you're on LinkedIn or Facebook and you want to be a guest, be like Betty Jean,
Mhm.
message me and we'll see what happens. And
Yes, yes.
so thank you. And thank you to everyone in the chat room and to everyone watching. Have a wonderful December. And if you're going to be traveling throughout the rest of the year, have a wonderful new year and holiday season. And
Mhm.
so, with that, I'm going to say goodnight, everyone.
Good night. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yes, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone.
Okay.